we're good. Welcome to this live stream. And I believe that your day went well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are connecting from. So, on this live stream, we're going to talk about what has actually happened literally in the past 24 to 72 hours in Nigeria. And I believe for those persons who are news lovers, you should have been able to come across the NBA conference, that it has been one of the most talked about conference in the history of Nigeria. Please, you pardon me at any point my network go off. Kindly let me know in the comment box that either if you cannot hear me or if you can hear me, any of them, let me know in the comment box so that I'll know how many persons are really connected to the live stream. Please, it's actually going to help me. Now, I promised us the last time that we're going to talk about how our votes can actually be rigged. Those are some of the things we'll be looking at, and then we'll look at how elections are won in a true democratic setting and how elections are actually manipulated in an undemocratic setting. And for a better understanding, I would like us to give ourselves a direction, right? So we'll start from what I title as the power of a single story. So I'll start with that, the power of a single story. So first of all, what is a single story? A single story in this perspective is simply a narrative that people have had over a particular topic for a long time. So when people are subjected to a particular thought, thank you so much, eBay Otta. Thank you so much for having me here. We are just beginning the live stream and we want to talk about some of the recent happenings and how they relate with 2027 election. So when a particular story is repeated over time, over a period of time, it becomes the parts that makes up the belief of the people, that makes up the perception of the people, that makes up the analysis of how they perceive things and how they analyze things. So that's why a single story is actually very important, that we look at every story that comes apart. Sorry, oh God, I need to put on the light at this point. Please pardon me, my light just tripped off. So I'll need to put on the light. In few seconds, I'll put on the light. I'm still with us, okay? Just in less than 3 minutes, I'll put on the light. So I'm still with us, okay? I'm still with us. Nigeria has actually happened to me just when we wanted to start. But we'll still push on, okay? Just hold on briefly. Let me put on the light. I believe this is bright enough. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. All right. So as I was saying, when we were born, our mothers used to tell us that when you peel banana, before you use it for food, that you must wash it. Oh, sorry, when you peel plantain, I meant to say, if you peel plantain, before you prepare it as food to be eaten, you have to first of all wash it. Now, the question here is there sand in that plantain? Was there sand in it? We have never asked that question. The next part of it is, our parents used to tell us that when you see a certain color that is lighter in nature, you call it white. And then when you see a particular color that is darker, when it is darker, we call it black. And that's why human beings are now classified into white and black. But is there actually a true white color complexion? Is there anybody like that is completely white for what white is? Is there anybody that is completely black for what black is? Because we do not question some of these things. That's why we take it for what it is. And that's why it goes into our analysis of what we speak. What we discuss and how we perceive things. Because we have swallowed that either we are black people or we are white. And it goes as far as to our mentality. So we believe that if you have the color complexion that is white, you are superior to anybody that have the color complexion that is dark in color. But is it a fact? No, it's not a fact. These are some of the things that we need to challenge. So when, for instance, an experiment was conducted using a rat, they picked a rat, put it in a box circle, and then put a lid on top and allow that rat to be there for 21 days. And after 21 days time, the lid of that box was open, but the rat could not step out. Why? Because he has that anytime he goes towards the lid to step out, he faces a difficulty. He try, he step down, he rest, go try, face a difficulty and relax. Over a while, he now believe that that lid is there, even when the lid was taken off. That's what happens when we are subjected to a single story. Now, relating it to our topic for discussion today, we were brought up with that single idea that the rich people are actually wicked. Is it true that the rich people are actually wicked? If you believe that, let us know in the comment box. Another thing we're trained is that for anybody to be rich, the wealthy people have one or two unlawful habits. They have one or two crooked ways that they get to secure their wealth. Is it true? Another one we actually heard from our parents is that the hands of the rich people is not clean. Is it really true? Aren't there genuine businesses? So when you are subjected to a single story over a long period of time, you tend to believe it and it becomes your basis for analyzing people, things, and circumstances around you. And today we are going to be challenging some of the narratives that have flowed, some of the narratives that have built the discourse of political affairs in the country, right? The first one is we are meant to believe that for you to be a president, you have to be someone that is sanctimonious, someone that is respected, someone that is secluded from the people. And then you must be wealthy, you must be able to give out money to people during period of campaign. That without you being able to give out money during period of campaign, you are not a good presidential aspirant. Without you being able to lobby your way to during primaries to secure that position using money, using intimidation and so on, you are not strong and capable enough. These are some of the perspectives, the single story they gave to us, which is the title of our discussion, the power of a single story. They have make us believe that for you to be truly a strong opponent in politics, that you must be somebody that can be able to intimidate your opponent, someone that doesn't take no for an answer, somebody that has sufficient money to be able to bribe your way through. But is that really true that that is the only pathway for you to be able to ascend to the throne, for you to be able to ascend to Aso Rock? No, that is not the truth. But because we believe that mentality and we carry it around, because it is the story that we were born to meet, we have not challenged that ideology. We have not challenged that perception. Now, starting from where our discussion started, let's take a step back. You know, when Very Dark Man attended the NBA meeting, just after then, there were lots of discourse that came after. First, his credibility to even be present in that NBA discussion. Secondly, there were discussions around his experience. First of all, was his credibility. Next, his experience. And under his credibility, they actually scrutinized his background. I'm going to push to that, all right? Now, under his experience, how long has he been under that aspect of security to be able to discuss on security affairs of the nation? Now, those were some of the areas they looked at. The next one is, how much of connection does he have? Now, let's go to his credibility. Was Very Dark Man the right person? There have been debates about that, and three major persons were pointed out. First, English Alaji. Secondly, Harrison Gwamishu. Those persons were pointed out that if they needed to know about the better architecture, if they needed to get a better understand the architecture, security architecture of Nigeria, that they would have consulted English Alaji, that he faces, he interacts with those people, intercepts with them. And then the next person is Harrison Gwamishu, that he has been on the field, that Very Dark Man does not have or sustain that credibility enough to be the person to come out and talk about that. Now, the next one is Femi Falana, one of the most respected and senior advocate of Nigeria, has also questioned him, where he made a comment like, that if they needed to have a serious discussion as that, they wouldn't have gone and picked a nobody to come and entertain the groups of lawyers that were gathered there. And this has sparked a lot of reaction. Very Dark Man have responded as to that. And he is of the opinion that That it should be where the origin of this controversy is coming from. The son of a nobody. The son of a nobody. And it has been believed over the years that for you to be able to render any reasonable suggestion as to issues that borders around nation building, you must be somebody that is wealthy, somebody that is from the that have a background with the elite, somebody that must be able to give out to help people sustain, not just help people in such a way that you can be able to, let's say for instance, lobby your way through things. They have those perceptions that we have about the world. Or you should be having connection with the governor, with this, the chairman of this, and that, and that, and that. That without that, you will not have reasonable suggestions to give, reasonable recommendations to give. But is that true? No. English allergy they talked about is not somebody that is in the political arena of Nigeria. One issue is not even somebody that have held any office at all. So why the recommendation for him to be a better person? Now for a person like Falana, he talks about somebody that, let's say the National Security Advisor and so on. This person has been giving recommendation over the years and it is not working. It is not working. Are they not the same persons who told us that for us to tackle insecurity, you must rehabilitate bandits? Are they not the same person? Are they not the same persons who have told us that these persons, why it is difficult to handle them is because they live within us? That it's difficult to identify them. Thank you so much, Christian. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know the same persons who told us that for you to be able to identify them, that it's very difficult to identify them because they stay within us. But we have been hearing rumors where several persons have come out to say that this person lives within us. This person, they know them. This person, they have been seeing them, they interact with them. That they interact with them, that if they actually want to stop insecurity, it's just for them to apprehend all these known persons, these known gunmen, is just to apprehend them, that insecurity will end in Nigeria. So, the same information. Very Dark Man has been somebody that gets information. Nigerians live in his DM. So, everything about intelligence, he has been getting intelligence from different angles. Very Dark Man has sat down to analyze how insecurity have affected all the geopolitical zone in Nigeria, as well as the zones that are left to be touched. Now, that's now have challenged the narrative that he doesn't have an experience in that aspect. It's not credible enough. Now, going to the other angle, if you want to flip things over, now, saying that he is not qualified enough to speak on issues as much as security. If you need to get proper intelligence to handle things like security, you can't do away with the role of the public. Else, you only be fighting an ideal system. You only be fighting an ideal challenge. So you need to interact with these people. So it mustn't be the elite. And that's why when Very Dark Man was making that video, what came to my head was what King Martin Luther Jr. spoke about. He said that I have a dream that one day the rich, the children of the rich and the children of the poor will sit down on the same table and eat together. I have a dream that someday that my children will not be judged by their complexion, by their family history and by their background, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that someday the valley will be brought down, and so the valley will be exalted, and then the hills will be brought down. He was talking about equality there, where everybody can be seen with a screen of equality, challenging the paradigm. And that's why for our discussion today, we need to challenge the paradigm. Some of the paradigm we are going to be challenging are how elections are won in a true democratic system, and the role of voters' apathy in terms of rigging of election, the role voters' apathy play. When you don't go out to vote, the role that it plays, enabling rigging of election, right? So first of all, well, head narratives. Know that we are going to divide this into some segments. The first segment is before. The second is during. The next one is after. The first one, which is number one, before. When elections want to be hijacked by the political class, which is the narrative that built within us, that we have come to believe that for anybody to be the president, for any election to be won, there are certain narratives that have given to us. First of all, what is the first narrative that sold for us? That before the election results has been decided. That they have already decided who is the winner. They have already, the person that is going to be the president, they have already written it down. There is only a script that is acted out. That is number one narrative. That is one of the power of a single story. When they have sold us that narrative and we have bought into it, that election results are what? Already decided. The second single story they sold for us, the second part of that element is that next, the power of incumbency, that you cannot unseat an incumbent. Did it happen in Goodluck Jonathan time? Now, if you challenge them with that Goodluck Jonathan was an incumbent and an election was won, they will tell you that Goodluck was weak. That is a narrative. That is a propaganda. It's a narrative and must be challenged. The next one they will sell to you, using the various opponents, they'll tell you that Peter Obi have moved from one party to the next party and to other party and this party and this party, that is not settled, it's not organized. The big question is, do you know that Tinubu have moved over 7 to 8 parties before he settled finally in APC? Check for yourself. Let me know the feedback. Do you know that Tinubu has moved from over 7 to 8 parties before he settled down in APC? But they send you that narrative that Peter Obi have moved from party and party and party. Why is it so? Because they want to reduce the Peter Obi effect. The next narrative they have sold to you is that Peter Obi is too weak. Now, the question is, should a presidential candidate be an iron bender? We have experienced the power of iron bending that we needed to experience for the past 3 years. And what is the result? Where do we find ourselves today as Nigeria, as a country? The next aspect is, if you go to our article, they will sell you the narrative that is a corrupt man. Is a corrupt man. And many persons have come out to challenge that narrative. They say Atiku is more democratic than even Tinubu. Because during elections, certain narratives are sold out, just so that it can enable the person they want to rig in to carry the election. So the first thing we know during, that is for the before, is what? Propaganda. So before the election, the first step towards rigging the election is that they start selling propaganda. They start selling propaganda. The next one is propaganda and disinformation. Let me take that. Propaganda and disinformation. First of all, what is a propaganda? Propaganda is a story that is actually untrue. The next one, propaganda is the same thing as saying a what? A disinformation. And then it does not end there. The next thing they do is called partly true, partial truth. Partial truth. That means they'll tell you parts of the story that sounds to be true, and then they'll insert in the story they want you to believe. So that goes along with propaganda. They'll tell you that, yes, Peter Obi saved money when he was the governor. But instead of him using the money for the states to pay workers, that workers went on strike because he couldn't pay workers, that doctors and the rest, they went on strike. The federal federal staffs, they went on strike. He couldn't pay them because he saved the money. That was wickedness. I think I'll have challenged them during this NBA meeting. He said what? He said, had they asked the question, why did the workers go on strike if they say workers went on strike? Because if you challenge a single story, the truth will definitely come out. If you challenge a single story, there is always the other side of every story. There is always the other side of every story. Now, why did workers go for strike during Peter Obi's regime? Because They were kidnapping. Let me use doctors, for instance, that they used to give to us, they sell to us. The doctors went on strike because they were kidnapping a lot of doctors during Peter Obi's regime. And they wanted to actually put a stop to that. The second thing they went on strike for was that there is a salary, workers have a salary structure based on their profession. This commence structure is what the doctors they are paid with. So they needed to structure their salary so that they tell you that Peter Obi did not pay. Sorry, I think my network have gone off. I don't know if you are still there. If you are still there, please let me know. My network went off. A call actually came in. If you are still with me, please let me know in the comment box. If you are still with me, let me know in the comment box. My network went off. All right, what am I saying in essence? The doctors went on strike because they were actually calling for the federal government to actually design a well-structured salary structure for them, which was not the responsibility of what? Of Peter Obi to handle. It was not the responsibility of Peter Obi to handle that challenge. But they bent the narrative let me tell us which is the second aspect of it, which is what? Half-truth. Half-truth. Now, why do I call this half-truth? Why I call it half-truth is that the first part is that, yes, the doctors went on strike. But the other truth was that, which was the false aspect of it was that it was not because of Peter Obi. It was not because of him. They actually went on the strike. And those people that went on the strike were federal workers, not state workers. The salary of federal workers are decided by the federal government, while the salary of the state worker is decided by the state government, of which Peter Obi is the governor. So the state doctors, the state nurses, and the rest, they never proceeded on that strike. So you now see what the power of propaganda during election, why you must know the real truth. Why you must question every single story that comes out. Every single story must be challenged. Every single story must be challenged. So when they sell to you a single story, ask them the other side of the story. That is the first thing we consider before an election. Propaganda. The next one has to do with, let me check that place. The media plays a role. The media plays a role before, during, and after. They will use both the conventional media and the social media to sell these lies. The conventional media, please, somebody should tell me in the comments and tell me how many times Channels Television have hosted Tinubu since he became the presidency today. How many times they have hosted him for an interview? Someone should let me know in the comment box. I also want somebody to let me know how many times Arise News have hosted Tinubu since he became the president till date. How many times they hosted him for an interview? The next one I want to ask is, how many times have TVC, which is rumored to be linked to him, how many times have TVC hosted him for an interview? If you can have an answer to that, then I'll really appreciate. But they will rather host an interview they will invite Atiku for an interview. They will invite Peter Obi for an interview, and every other Donald Duke, Showore, and the rest for an interview. Why? Because they want to paint a narrative. Because they want to use the media to do what? Paint a narrative. And when they make any comments during the interview, they will twist the comment. Look for a particular section of it, just for headlines. And for it to be able to smoothen, for it to carry their propaganda and sell it off to the people. That is the role that media plays. And then the good side of this opposition, using Peter Obi as a case study, you will not see them commonly sell the good side. How many times have TVC showed us the good things Peter Obi did since Peter Obi started campaigning, since Peter Obi started contesting for presidency? How many times have they brought the old videos of Peter Obi when he was doing the right thing? How many times have they pushed on the social media, these people, they pushed his good works? They would rather want to look for that error so that they can magnify it. That is the role of what? Social media before an election. The next group of persons we will go forward to look at, please, so we'll have space to discuss better. All right. Now, the next group of persons they want to deal with is fear, which in bracket will have intimidation and threat. Now, under this aspect, what they do, when they start selling you these lies, they will make, why are they, when someone to instill fear on someone, it's because there is a target. There is a target. And that target, which is the goal, they don't want you to make an attempt to win them by achieving that target. So what they do, they will sell a narrative that threatens the opposition and therefore suppressing their desire to participate. And one of such is that they will threaten, they will send out their talks after the voters. Or if you come to protest, let's use for instance, when people were actually talking about electoral reform, using Randy Peter as a case study. During that phase of that protest, we saw another group who grouped themselves to also attack the protesters. That's a good picture of how this is done. So when you see this attack, it is just to disenfranchise other persons from participating and calling for electoral reform. That is another rule. The next one, proud to election, is that the systems and institutions of the government will be bought over. So machinery such as the military, machinery such as the police, machinery such as the EFCC, institutions such as the National Assembly, they'll be bought over. Proud to the election, they'll be bought over. The next group of persons is the institutions such as the electoral body. They will control them, threaten them that they may possibly lose their office if they don't play toward the rule. Those are some of the things they do before an election that enables their rigging. The next part they play, we have talked about the machineries such as the military, the EFCC, the police. We have talked about institutions such as the National Assembly, the INEC. Now, another set of persons is, if you watch closely to 2023 election, before, from 2022, I think about mid 2022 till early 2023, there was naira scarcity. But immediately after the election, naira started balancing back. That prior to that time, we had to buy naira with naira. It's because of what? The power of what? Incumbency. So they can create, they will bring up policy, say we want to change naira. Why is it that naira have never, in fact, from 2023 after the election till now, 2023 post-election till this moment, they have not seen the need to redesign naira. They have not changed naira. Naira is still in circulation. But once it's close to election time, the CBN governor will now see the need to redesign naira. That is what? A strategy for them to be able to do what? Rig the election. And we must be able to know this, so that when we see all these strategies coming, we'll also adjust and prepare ourselves ahead of 2027. The next one is what I talked about before. Let's shift a bit to what? During this election. During the election, because you have had what? A misinformation. Because you have had what? A half-truth sold to you about your candidate. Some persons may start having a double-mindedness towards their candidate, their preferred candidate of choice. Some people will run with that propaganda and believe that is true. But because we have not challenged this propaganda to verify them, to see is it actually true or not, we just run with the propaganda. And so it makes us start believing propaganda like all politicians are the same. Are all politicians actually the same? The answer is no. But because it is a propaganda, it is meant at doing what? Making you not to consider the most favorable, the most competent, the most courageous, the most credible candidate. They want to see them as an option. So they will sell that propaganda, that lie to you that all politicians are the same. So that when it is time during this election period, you already have that mindset. After all, let me just, should I go and vote? No, vote doesn't count. This thing is just a waste of time. Make the no go wound me. All those kind of excuses, they are aimed at what? They are aimed at causing voter apathy. And so you must avoid them. You must know them so you can avoid them. So you start thinking, nobody's worth me doing any sacrifice. Nobody's worth my sacrifice, I beg. All those narratives, you have to fight and challenge them. So during the election, because some persons have had that mentality, some, they feel no even come on that day. They feel no see them come out to vote. But what happens if you don't come out to vote? What happens when you don't come out to vote? That day also we'll talk about this thing. When you don't come out to vote, this is what happens. When you register for your vote, when you register, we have what we call registered voters. And we have what we call total number of votes cast. We have what we call invalid votes. We have what we call valid votes. We have what we call the collated results. Now, look at where the rigging starts. When these people want to rig election, which is why you must come out to vote. You must not stay in your house. This is what happens. This is what happens, right? Please listen carefully. Listen carefully so that you will get knowledge on why you must come out to vote. Let's say there is 1,000 registered voters. For the total number of people that registered to vote, that you made your PVC, you went out, you made your PVC. That's total number of persons. Let's say it was 1,000. And then, because of all this narrative, the propaganda, the fear of the threats, possible threats that may arise and so on, probably you know come out, come vote. Wetin go happen? Let's say 600 come out, come vote. Now, this 600, inside this 600 is where we have all these people. Like we also have accredited. Now, inside here, some people, they will, before you vote, you must come out. They will check you if you be actually registered for the vote. If now your polling unit be that, if you don't reach of age, a lot of things they will check. If you from that place, a lot of things they will check them to verify. And that process is called accreditation. That process is called accreditation. So what they do is that when they don't check you, you are eligible to vote. Those set of persons are called accredited voters. Accredited voters. The next set of people, when this set of people move to the next round, when they cast their votes, we will have another group of people. And those group of people are those ones where they don't sabi how to vote. They don't sabi how to vote. Possibly not their first time, or they don't go do mistake. Vote, you go white on printing, you go enter another column. So those set of people, they call them invalid votes. invalid votes. Now how they call am be that. So let's say accredited voters now become what? Well, 600 came out to vote, but the accredited wey be people wey meet up the standard come be 500. Inside that 500, we come get let's say 200 invalid. We get 200 invalid. Then the ones wey actually meet up the criteria and vote very well come be out of 500, 200 come be 300. Valid ones come be 300. Please take note of this. Take note of this. 300. Out of this 300, dem collect am because you no stand check the election well, because you no protect your vote. You hurry say you dey go house. You say you don tire. You say your pikin dey here. You suppose go for this and that and that and that. You give excuse. You leave. You no vote. So they come count the votes. So don't forget say na 300 finally vote. So this 300 they come count am. Each party, let's say A, B, C. A here for APC. They give them maybe for your polling unit. They throw people wey vote for your polling unit. Out of 300, APC they vote for 50 or 50 people na im vote them. B here come be ADC. ADC now dey vote get 70. And then NDC for instance. Now if you remove this is left with how many? You go left with how many? Confirm it from your own end. This is 230, right? I mean 180, sorry, 180. This 180. This 180. Now this 180 wey dey here for NDC, because una no stand to protect una vote, wetin dem go do? How they rig it? Make I show the various point now wey dem dey rig us out. This is the various point wey dey take rig us out. First, the total number of registered votes wey be those people wey bin vote, sorry, wey bin register for voters card but they no comot come vote. So the people wey turn out, total number na 1,000. People wey turn out na wetin? 600. So wetin dem go do? This 400 dey in between wey no show up at all because they don dey carried away by all this propaganda. So that 400 now, they fit go slice 150. Keep aside for their party. Dem go slice 150 keep apart for their party wey be APC. Now, accredited voters, out of the 600, na only 500 come qualify. So 100 now no qualify. Dem go cut am maybe 20 out for the 150. You don see how they take rig election, wey be the reason why you must go out go vote. So the next one, for the invalid vote, now 200 dey invalid because you no stand make una protect una vote. Dem go say okay, out of the 200 dem go cut, let's say 70, add am here. Dem go add 70 for themselves because una no check, una no dey there make dem count am well. Una no tell dem make dem tear the ballot paper wey remain. All those ballot paper wey remain, una no tell dem. Maybe another point wey I go tell what we suppose even discuss, because if una no stand there tell dem make dem tear that ballot paper, they go turn print am again, follow add up to make up for this space of what? First, the space in between for the registered voter, the next one space in between for the accredited voter, and then the last, the one we dey talk about, the invalid vote. There must still some turn print very fast, turn print. Thank you so much. Ashida Adele, please pardon me, I may not be able to pronounce the name very well. Thank you so much. Please help us like the live stream, okay? Kindly help us like the live stream. Now, they will cut some votes now from there. From the valid votes, don't forget say that 300 finally vote correctly. So from this 300, dem get 50 here. They will carry this 180 wey NDC get, carry the 180 give APC. They will carry, because una no stay protect una vote, they will carry am give these people. Now, from here too, another thing wey dem go do, in between this space, They will add number, thumbprint, add number. So you don't see say you not going out to vote. You dey rather give room for them to do what? To rig the election. If you don't go out to vote. And those changes dey always happen between one, the polling unit. Now here you start, and at this point really matter. This point really matter. This particular point one, point I, it really matter because now here na voter party dey start because people no come this place. Most people no come vote. The next one, the aspect of misreporting of result, because una no dey ground to ensure that the votes wey dem count dey accurate, the vote wey dem write down e dey accurate. The collecting officers go use that opportunity do the magu-magu wey they wan do. The next one, this ballot manipulation, na here e dey happen too. Na here e dey happen. So you must take care of this sensitive one. This is stage one, which is why we say make una comot for, make una come out in crowd. Thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. Please help us to like the live stream, okay? Help us like the live stream. Now, this point really matters. The next point, when they start all this inflation of votes, now local collating center. Now this local collating center, now for the, when they don't move the ballots, they will move them come this local collating center. This is the first point. And a year after it isn't only here that they buy votes. They don't just buy votes alone for here. They physically buy votes for here. And that's why each party, when they call you, say, come out, follow, come help the this thing, election agents, party agents. It is very necessary because if a party don't get agents, if they don't fit buy the vote or suppress the vote, if they don't fit inflate the vote for this polling unit, they will calmly wait, come this point called the local collating center. Now here they will come do the changes, the adjustment, where they may not fit do for this point. Now here they will come do one. And that's why we must get party agents. The next point where they will come to now state collating center. This point, now here the governors, they're fully in charge. Now here the governors, they're fully in charge. And that is why structure matters. If we get structure, nobody will alter this point. When I remember that Professor Nenaya Oti for Abia State, because that woman don't follow up from beginning, she know wetin the report from this point, and that's why they no fit change am. They tire, they no fit change am, and then finally they will come carry am go Abuja, where they go result, and then we now have another stage of people called the returning officers, where this one are professors. They will carry money, give those professors. Because when I get agents wey go represent una for this level, get agents wey go represent una here, get agents here, but una no get agents wey go follow this thing. Una no get person wey go represent una as una returning officer. A faithful one wey be say money no fit buy am. They will give am money, change the result. They will just give am money, change the result. And that's why Professor Nenaya Oti, she was not that kind of person where they fit buy. She will not be that person where they fit buy. And that was why Alex Oti became the governor of Abia State. And we seen what Governor Alex Oti have done Abia State to. Imagine say everybody mobilize, follow come this polling unit, protest their votes after voting, get party agents wey go observe, election observer, people wey go observe these things. They no dey carried away with intimidation. They no allow make propaganda and this thing, misinformation and disinformation overtake them. They take care of this point. Imagine say every polling unit get people, party agents wey go follow am go the local collating centers. Imagine say we get people for this state collating center. They no go fit rig the election. And those people follow that returning officer wey be professor. Come this point, they no go fit change anything. And that was how Peter Obi start to lose in election in 2023. Because there were issues at this point, this point, this point. So that the figure wey dem give am from here and here, dem adjust the figure just till reach this point. They no fit announce for each of the states wetin be really the real figure here, the real figure here, the real figure here. Another thing wey dem dey do that day, make I tell una, for those ones wey never vote before, for those ones wey never vote before, wetin go happen that day? Get patient o, we wan talk today. The ones wey no fit finish, we go continue another day. Another thing wey dey happen that day, network no go dey. They go tell you say network no dey. So make dem resort back to what? Remember say the electoral reform wey dem do, they include manual collation instead of using IREF wey be electronic, making a mandatory electronic transfer of result. So network no go dey that day. Even for when they know this what they do, for centers wey be say na opposition na im get am, you no go see network make they accredit people. You no see network make they take do most of the accreditation process. Their server go dey slow. But for center we say na dem get am, network go dey. Network go dey for that very day. The next one, the agents, those INEC staffs, they no go comot on time. They go come very late. You no go see them, they go come very late. To every center wey be opposition, na dem get am, they go come very late. The next one, they fit even change center. That is why I say, try sabi your polling unit. No wait till that day, try sabi am on time. And then, make una comot in group, open una eyes, because polling unit fit change. And that day when you dey comot to go vote, no just carry your mind say as you dey go, that you go just go straight to your polling unit. There's a possibility say they don change the center where you suppose vote. So just dey prepare say that day fit dey waiting, stressful. But because we want a better Nigeria, what is so difficult in facing the stress, the 24-hour stress, and get a 4 years good governance? You face a 24-hour stress, you get a 4-year good governance. So just prepare say that day it go dey stressful. So because the fit change center, because the INEC agent fit come late, so you must take note of these 2 points. The next one, when una dey vote, they fit come do wetin? Snatch ballots. They fit come snatch am. So make una prepare. Like this one, we no go allow this time. If una comot plenty, they no fit snatch this thing. They go only snatch am if una no plenty, or una allow them make they snatch am. No be them alone get madness. They no fit snatch this one. That's another thing. They fit comot. As they dey comot, then I say, if una dey comot to go vote 2027, As you dey carry your PVC, carry wetin you go take protect your PVC. Carry wetin you go take protect your PVC. Because when they notice say una come out prepared, they no go fit touch una ballot box. The next one wey fit happen on that day, they will come out with heavy money to buy vote. Enough money. Please, if you are connected to this live stream, don't forget to like the live stream. If you have any suggestion at this point, you can start dropping it, because we'll soon wrap up for today. We might continue on another day, but for today we'll soon wrap up. So if you have any suggestion to make, any question at all, drop it in the comment box, okay? Drop it in the comment box. So that day, they will come with enough money, make them take buy vote. They will come with enough money. But tell me, wetin 80,000 naira go do if you sell your vote, suffer for the next 4 years? So that's why Abia people, they may not collect money. They vote who they want. When they bring their money, if your throat no fit control, collect the money but no vote, vote the right person. And for 2027, I dey let una know say Peter Obi na be that right person. Peter Obi na be that right person. So if you feel say you no fit control yourself, if you collect the money, still do the right thing. If not, no even collect the money. They even come as they give you money, they collect wetin your voters card, go thumb print. They collect your voters card, go thumb print. Some fit even get ballot box for corner with ballot papers. They use am dey thumb print for one secret room. This one go dey successful. This secret ballot, wey dem stay for one room, go dey successful if una allow them. Only if una allow them. But if una get formidable team wey dey ready to protect the vote, this ballot na waste of time. E go be waste of time. If una get formidable team, if una really prepare, this paper wey dem don turn print finish, e go be waste of time. The next one, e get some place wey be say fowl go vote, cow go vote, goat go vote. If una really dey prepared, they no go bring that vote come una own center, una polling unit. So those are some of the things that happen. Just so that we go push a bit towards the last part, will be after the election. After the election, the people wey they use, they will use INEC, they will use the military and police, even during, they will use the lawyers. So INEC will report something wey dey different from wetin people vote. And then they go tell you make you go court. Court, because they don already prepare, they don write the script give them. They will only judge the case in favor of who they plan. But we don tell una say, come 2027, our election result, our winner, they no go decide am for court. Dem go decide am for the polling unit. Plans don already dey in place, make we know who win election and the action to take thereafter. So no stay for house, comot come do wetin? Vote. Comot come vote. Your vote go do wetin? E go count come 2027. I think we need to stop at this point. Any question, any suggestion, any contribution, let us know for the comment box. Any question, any suggestion, any contribution, let us know in the comment box. And if you have not liked this live stream, help us to like the live stream, okay? Help us share, help us subscribe to this channel. I want to appreciate every one of us that have been here from the beginning. I really appreciate every one of us. We have Aisha that was here, Christian that was here, EB, and the rest of us. Please help us subscribe to this channel so that whenever we discuss on topics like this, you get among persons that will receive the notification. Okay. And please, if you have watched to this point, don't forget to like the live stream. If you have any question, any suggestion, any contribution, the floor is open for you. If not, I think we'll have to end here. See you on subsequent one. Remain safe and enjoy the rest of your day. If you also have not, maybe you have missed a lot from the beginning, which definitely you have missed because you're just connecting. Please, you can still watch the rebroadcast. Okay, I'll post it. You'll see it on my channel. Just go to the point that is written live, and then you'll see it there. Please, you can also check it back. Okay, I want to appreciate every one of us. At this point, we need to stop, and I look forward to always seeing us on subsequent live stream. Take care of yourself. I love you all. Cheers. Merci.